You hear me talk about using your sling all the time on the channel. Today, we get an absolute picture-perfect example of why. Hi everyone, welcome to today's highly frustrating badge cam lesson here at Active Self-Protection. I'm your host, John Correa.
I'm your co-host, Mike Williver, and former law enforcement officer and firearms instructor. He used to teach people how to use a sling on a shotgun. Today's video comes to us from Los Angeles, California.
Today's video is sponsored by Delete Me, and not only is Delete Me a sponsor of Active Self-Protection, I am a client and have been for years. Just like our other sponsors, I never recommend something that I do not personally use all the time. And I've been a customer of Delete Me for over 2 years. I've got the receipts to prove that for you. And listen, what they do is they go and talk to and request all the data brokers get rid of your personal information so that your personal information can't be sold and brokered around the internet or available to people who might stalk you or use it for nefarious means. It has kept me from having my address online, where I had a stalker at one point, a crazy lady from the gym. And literally, she couldn't find where I was and what my address was because we had been using Delete Me. They check over 1,000 brokers. They recheck every other month and put in delete requests, and it goes again and again and again. Saves you hundreds of hours of work. And I am very happy with the service at a really reasonable price. I'm trying to be even safer and smarter in 2026, and maybe this is a great way for you to be safer and smarter this year too. Hit the link in the description and check Delete Me out. Go read the news stories I've linked in the description. The call has come into LAPD of a man brandishing a firearm in a shopping complex and waving it all about like he just don't care. We have audio from the badge cams. Let's listen in.
Yeah. Oh, he's got tattoos all over his face, bro.
Hey, don't move, don't move, don't move, don't move, don't move.
X46, we're code 6 on the suspect. Give me a backup, 415 man with a gun. We're right in front of Nate's Cafe.
Reach for that gun.
Lift up your hands. Hands in the air.
Hands in the
All the way up. All the way up. All the way up.
Hey, can you leave me alone, dog? I'm on probation.
Hey, don't move. Don't move. Don't move. Don't move. Don't reach for it. Okay, we gotta go less lethal. Okay. Go.
Hey. He's got a gun, he's got a gun.
He's got a gun, guys.
Shit. Hey, drop it, yo. Hey. Fuck. Hey, drop it. Hey, drop it now. Drop it. I'm gonna shoot you. Drop it! Drop it now! $20.5, he's northbound Northgate, 83. Hey! Get on the ground now! Get on the ground now! Drop it! Drop it now! Drop it now! Air Force One!
Drop it now, I'm gonna shoot you.
I'm doing this.
It's all right. It's all right. Drop it now.
Let's go, sir.
Drop it now. It's okay. I'm gonna help you. Hey, it's not a big deal. Nothing happened. Hey, nothing happened. You're not in trouble. You're not in trouble. Okay, drop it. Okay, drop it. Drop it or you're not in trouble right now. I don't want to hurt you. Don't be stupid. Don't be stupid. Drop it now, bro. Come on. Hey, I'm gonna take care of you, bro. Trust me. Trust me, bro. Trust me, bro. Hey, I'm gonna take care of you, bro. Hey, you're fine. Hey, let me help you. Let me help you. Drop it now. Shots fired. Officer needs help.
Dash cam shows that our bad guy, after exchanging a couple of gunshots with the popo, takes and yeets his firearm up in the air like he just don't care, and it falls down out there. You can see it's kind of half locked to the rear, so it was out of battery when they took possession of it. So he actually had a failure to feed in his firearm, which is why he only fired one round. Then they're going to take him into custody. And you can see in this picture of it that the top round that was going into his gun, not the fired one, but the top one, is actually all kind of jacked up, and that is why he wasn't able to fire anymore. Nobody was hit by any of the gunfire. So they got this guy into custody, and he's facing attempted murder charges. I mean, Mike, we don't have like the opposite of the Special Pants Brigade, or the box of shame, like the paper bag of shame. But should we start handing those out for people who don't use their slings?
I don't know that they would accept them, quite frankly, but
No.
this is exactly why you use your sling. One of the 4 reasons.
Aye. Now listen, Mike, I am as pro Second Amendment as they come. And so I think, open carry should be legal in all 50 states and the district. I don't recommend it, but I think it should be completely legal. It is not legal to openly carry a firearm in the state of California, but that's not why these officers are here, not why they're pointing guns at him, because he's brandishing the gun. He is waving the gun around like he just don't care. And that is what is going to bring the popo out here. So is it okay for them to be pointing guns at this guy? I think the answer to that is absolutely yes. They have not responded with too much force. Now, he might just have the gun in his waistband there right now. But again, he is the guy that they are looking for who has been pointing that gun at people. So this is a high risk stop.
Yeah, it's more than just matching the description, which is kind of an old, almost a joke at this point. You match the description. This guy matches the description every day of the week and twice on Sunday. And that's a thing, whether you like it or not, in law enforcement, is going, that guy looks like a crook. And he's out there looking as crookish as he possibly can. Yeah, and, open carry should be legal everywhere, in my opinion, even though I don't recommend it. I don't advise it. However, in California, it is illegal. And, I don't think people were making it up when they said he was waving the gun around. This guy's obviously not all there. So I think the officers were justified in A, stopping him, and B, having their guns out and at the ready.
Yeah. So, and clearly it becomes clear and pretty apparent that this guy has contaminated thinking. Okay. That he's talking about Air Force One and he's clearly non-compos mentis here, but also non-compliant and also waving a gun around. That is a real and loaded gun and actually a high quality firearm. So this is a very serious issue. And I really admire these officers and their tact and their willingness to try everything they could not to get in a gunfight with this guy. So we talk about, hey, we want our officers to not get in gunfights if they don't have to. Of course we do. We don't want them just shooting people willy-nilly. And these officers really didn't. I think they worked hard, chased him down. And Mike, the officer who ends up in the confrontation, I think he did everything he could not to have to shoot this guy.
Yeah, it's not easy. It sucks for the officer because he knows, they all know it's at this point. The guy, this is probably not going to end well. He's, if he didn't comply initially with his contaminated thinking and everything else that's going on, this is almost certainly going to end poorly for someone, probably the bad guy. So at that point, you just got to steel yourself for the fight that's almost certainly going to happen here. I think there was no de-escalating this guy. He didn't want to be de-escalated. He wasn't thinking clearly. So this is kind of a predictable outcome, unfortunately, John.
I also think there's another lesson here. You notice our officer had himself a little bit of a jog before all this goes down. So, hey, remember rule number 1 of Zombieland, cardio, right? Don't neglect your cardio, officers, because he had to have that cardio and still have the presence of mind to think, make good decisions, communicate afterwards. Clearly, this guy does not skip cardio day, and I think that that's really important. Now, our Perp is going to decide what happens. He's going to get in a gunfight, and I want to note something here that happens, okay? He's going to shoot at the officer, the one round that he fired. The officer is going to fire one round back, and when he does, his firearm is going to lock to the rear. He's going to have a malfunction in his gun. Now, what I want you to notice is his gun locks to the rear. He does not tap the base plate on the magazine, just runs the action, gets the gun back in the fight, and it works. And what I see, I've seen it hundreds and hundreds of times, that works. So I don't teach tapping the base plate anymore as an all the time action, because If the magazine wasn't inserted all the way, it would have dropped to the floor. That modern firearms, if the magazine comes out, it's dropping to the deck. And I get it that sometimes we don't see that on the shooting range, and sometimes we don't see that in competitions, but those are different use case scenarios. Usually the guns are dirty. Usually the mags are dirty. It's the end of a weekend, grip problems abound. But in real life, I see this work again and again. So I just say, as a general rule, if the gun malfunctions, fix your problem as fast as you can. And the officer did here without the tap, and I think that's a fine technique.
Listen, if you want to tap and then rack and reassess, that's your business. As John likes to say, I don't think I'll be attending your gunfight, so do whatever you want. But I think it's a really great training point here. I'm struggling to think in, thousands of people that I've trained, if I've ever seen a tap be necessary. And we've seen incidents. One officer was on the podcast a while back who had an issue where he was shot in the heel, as I recall. And every time he would step, he had his gun out, he's being shot at. He would squeeze super hard on the gun, and the magazine would drop free. That's a very, very unique, specific thing. I just think that deleting the tap, I've never seen it go wrong. This is another example of that. And I think honestly, if you're doing a good press check before you leave the station, before you hit the street, do a quick press check. Make sure you're going around in the chamber and give it a tug. Give a tug to that magazine to make sure it's seated properly, and you don't have to worry about doing a tapping.
Yeah, and again, the only thing with the tap is that in real life, not on the range, but in real life, it takes about a half second in order to tap, because you tap it really hard in real life, and so it takes about a half second, and wasting time in a gunfight is not really advantageous. Okay, officer gets his gun back in the fight, works really well, and so I've seen it work hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of times. In fact, I've never seen it not work in a real life gunfight. So I want to note a couple of things here. Here's where things are going to get a little spicy. That our corporal here on the left, he's not using the sling for his shotgun. And I have harped on this point until I'm blue in the face. If you have a long gun on, you need to throw that sling over your neck, because he's about to go hands-on with this guy. And the fact of the matter is that we're going to see it in a minute, but he's going to basically hand this shotgun to the guy that's just shot at them, which, if he had simply had that shotgun slung, he could drop it and still have it slung around his neck and use both hands on this guy. And this is exactly the use case of why using the sling is so important. And otherwise, just leaving it dangling is stupid beyond measure.
Yeah, I hate to be too hard on this guy, but what John said is 100% correct. This is actually the first time I've ever really considered the idea of weapon retention being a use case for the sling. I've always thought of it as, if all of a sudden you got to go hands-on, if you're the only officer there, or deputy or whatever, and you need to sling it, you can sling it. If you need to transition to your sidearm because your shotgun or your long gun's not working or whatever, that was the reason. If you had your hands on, you could sling it behind you safely and put it on safe. Never really occurred to me, but it should make all the sense in the world that, yeah, if you approach someone with a gun out like this, not slung, there's a possibility they're going to try to take it from you. And that's not the kind of gun retention I want to practice. I'd really rather just have the sling on and give this guy a swift kick in the sternum and call it a day. So yeah, this is probably your biggest lesson of this whole video, in my opinion.
Because look at what he did. He literally, now I'm going to try to grab a hold of this guy, but he has a shotgun in his right hand. He literally is handing a shotgun to a guy who just shot at his partner, or maybe at him. We couldn't see where the guy was aiming. So you're literally handing a shotgun to that guy. I mean, I get it that you want to get that guy into custody. You may have seen that he threw the gun and yeeted that gun off into the wild blue yonder, so he's unarmed. If you're on the long gun and you choose to go hands-on, you got to have both hands free. And the only way to do that is to sling your firearm, because otherwise, I mean, Mike, imagine all the ways this could have gone wrong.
Yeah, it could have gone really wrong. I think really the important thing here is the biggest lesson, perhaps, aside from slinging your long gun, your shotgun, or your AR or whatever. Aside from that is, like, if you're the guy with the long gun, especially if it's not slung, maybe you shouldn't be the one moving in to effect the arrest. I'm not sure if this guy seemed compliant before this, or if he had the impression that he was going to, do what the officers told him or not. But I don't know if he was planning on butt stroking this guy, which I don't recommend, because shotguns have a free floating firing pin and they can discharge if you handle them the wrong way. So don't do that. Butt stroking is for the movies, not for real life. I'm just not sure why he was the one to approach in the first place. Does that make any sense, John?
It makes perfect sense to me. That, listen, if you're on the long gun, let somebody who's not on the long gun. I mean, you've got the thunder stick in your hand, so be the one who's providing cover for everyone else, and issue commands, right? Mount that gun and be like, hey man, get on the ground right now, and then let somebody else go in and effect the arrest. Because what he does here, let's look and see what happens, is he's going to take this guy to the ground, and the shotgun is going to get pinned under the bad guy. You have bad guy smegma all over your gun now, all over your shotgun. And if this guy has more fight left in him, he now has control of that shotgun. So I know we're kind of beating a dead horse here, but my goodness sakes, is there a better argument here for why to use your sling? I don't think we found it. Thank God nothing bad happened here.
And bear in mind, what I said earlier holds true. This is like a Remington 870, pretty standard looking police pump action shotgun. And in those shotguns, the safety only controls the trigger. It does not control. There's no actual block in between the firing pin and the primer. If that thing's loaded with one in the chamber and you go to the ground like this, there's a very real possibility that I think you discharge, not negligently necessarily, but certainly accidentally. And wherever that ends up going, could be into this officer's leg, into the wobbly yonder, into someone's house or whatever. So just something to bear in mind. There's a reason that if you're on the long gun in general, there's a reason you sling it. And there's a reason that you shouldn't be the one going hands-on unless you're literally by yourself.
So if you're watching this in roll call, you're watching this in the academy, please hear me. Just take the half second and throw that sling over your neck, because it can literally be the difference between this and you keeping control of that gun. And one final thing for our private citizens, I'm very glad it happened in this case, but this is a high quality firearm, okay? And notice where our limitation is. The very top, you can see the round that was going to be loaded in there. It's crap ammo, and so it jammed his gun up. Please, in your defensive firearms, okay, so for all of the absconding felons, don't listen to this, but for all the good, sane, sober, moral, prudent people, load your defensive firearm with high quality defensive ammunition. That is quality control check, and that you inspect on the regular so this stuff doesn't happen to you, okay? Some lessons here. Thankfully, nothing bad ended up going down. They got this guy in custody. He's going to do some serious time for attempted murder. And it's only by the grace of God here that these officers covered their ASP.